I asked some people at our school, what is OCD?
I guess it helps people clean. It helps me clean.
I don't know, like perfectionists and stuff.
I really don't know anything.
I had always believed that having OCD meant you were a perfectionist. I never knew much about it, other than the passing "this will satisfy your OCD" compilation, so I thought that was it. It meant someone who was overly clean, maybe they washed their hands a lot. It meant someone who was really organized and loved having their desk put together with everything aligned and straight. That was until I began flicking light switches again and again because it just didn't feel right the first time I flicked it. Until I began checking the stove, even when I was positive I turned it off, because what if I left it on and I start a fire? Until my reading abilities went down as I counted every word on a page just to make sure it was even. Until I began praying every night before bed for hours at a time just to make sure I used the right words, because something bad would happen if I had an intrusive thought while I prayed. Until I began washing my hands for over 15 minutes at least 7 times a day because I believed I was contaminated and dirty, which left scratches and made my hands and wrists so sensitive that I had to hide them behind my sleeves. Until I couldn't go outside because the outside world was too dirty and I could get my whole family sick if I exposed them to it. Until I began sanitizing all of the packages that came in because what if some bacteria was on them? Until I wasn't able to touch the objects in my own room because what if I touched them before I was in my new clean lifestyle? Until I realized OCD for the controlling, overwhelming thing it is. I'm not a perfectionist, hell, I'm even especially messy. I've never cared about my markers being in colored order or my keyboard being perfectly straight on my desk. But OCD was never about that. It was never about perfection, and it was never about being a clean freak. I learned that it's something I'd have to live with, and even though it's gotten better, it still manages to surprise me and overwhelm me when I least expect it. At least now I'm able to laugh at the "this will satisfy your OCD" compilations about how off they were about the whole thing. I hope that one day I'll stop seeing OCD used as an adjective and people saying they are so OCD because they felt the need to clean their whole room. But for now, we can take little steps to educate ourselves and those around us. So if a random girl you don't know with a camera walks up to you and asks, "What do you know about OCD?" you can give a bit better of a response than a perfectionist.